Hi, I have your character in front of me and it is wonderful. You really did a good job. I want to show you a trick to make the character look really good on the edges. You have a pretty hard edge here all the way around, and I want you to see what I'm going to do. Very first thing I always want you to do when you do this trick is add a layer mask to the character layer. You did a fantastic job. This is the first one turned in, and it's probably going to be one of the best ones. But I'm going to hold the Command key and click on the character layer. There is now a selection around the character. I'm going to go to Select, Modify, Contract. I see the size of the pixels on this, so I'm going to go out of this window for a second, and I want to see the image size first. And I can adjust the image size. Actually, it's pretty fine. It's good. So I'm going to do the same thing I said a minute ago. I'm going to go to Select, Modify, Contract. And I'm going to contract it by 3 pixels. That was too much. I'm going to contract it by 2 pixels. So I just Command-Z'd it back. So I'll go 2 pixels. Now I'm going to inverse it. So I'm painting on the outside. So I go Command-Shift-I. Now I go to Select, Modify, Feather, and I add if you contract it by 4 pixels, let's say this was a higher res one, always feather it by half of what you contracted, so I'll go 1 pixel. Now I'm going to hit Command H to soften, to get rid of the edge. Now I hit the B key, and let me see the size of the brush. The B key, I'm going to make the B key with the brush about that big. Then I'm going to put it on black at about 10%. And I want you to see when I paint around this edge. Let me show you by his shirt here and his neck. Look at how much softer this edge is getting. And when I step back on it, so I'm going to do this all the way around, and I may have to fix that little thing by his face right there. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of painting all the way around, and I'm going to soften the edge, because when light hits the edge of a character, a person or a place or a thing, a person or a thing, it always diffuses the edge, and you want to add a little bit of like a diffusion or a light reflection on the edge. Watch this arm as I come down. It's going to get a lot softer on that edge, and it's going to look normal now. That arm right there and that sleeve look a little bit harsh, and what you want to do with this trick that I'm showing you is pretty much use it all the time when you cut out a character or a product and you put it onto a background. Now let me go down his shirt here a little bit more, and then around his head. Now I'm going to be very careful as I move around his head. Look at on his chin. Look at how nice that gets on his chin. And I'm going to be careful on the hair, but this is actually going to help the hair too. It's going to soften all these hairs that are on the outside. Not getting rid of them. I'm just softening them so they have a little bit more of a light penetration, you know, like a light diffusion. Now I'm going to go back to where I messed up his neck right there. I'm going to make the brush smaller, actually right on his face, right there. And I'm going to hit the X key, and I'm going to paint some back in just on his jaw right there, just on that lower part of the jaw. Now, that looks a whole lot better, okay? So let me right-hand click and disable the layer mask. Look how harsh that looks. And let's look at this part around. Let me move this over. Let me actually get rid of this channel. Okay, let me put this over here. Okay, now look where I enable it. Okay, so let's enable it, and then let's disable it. And you can see just how harsh that gets on the edge. So you go ahead and do that, and I think you're going to really like the naturalness now that is on his cutout edge. Beautiful job. Thank you.